Hello, welcome to Shamanism, Metaphysics, and Grace. I'm Lauren Hubele, and I'm here with Jyoti Wind, who's going to step in with her astrology hat today. Jyoti, I'm looking forward to this astrology update.
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, we have an eclipse coming, and I wanted to put this out with enough time for people to be ready and mull it over and think about what's coming. So what I'm looking at is the solar new moon eclipse on April 20th. It's the 19th, let's say in Europe, 20th in this country. The time of the eclipse I did it for East Coast time. It is 12:13 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So it's in the wee hours, right after midnight. And so there's two eclipses coming, one on April 20th and one on May 5th. One's a new moon, the next one will be the full moon. So this is the solar new moon eclipse, and it's a new cycle. And it's very important because Pluto has just entered Aquarius and kind of opening a door to a new way of doing things that we're getting a taste of. I've talked about this between March and June of this year. And this eclipse is squaring that Pluto by 1 degree. And it's actually Jupiter, Moon, and Sun squaring Pluto by 1 degree. And it's really pushing us to and helping to further activate this Pluto of transformation. And it's pushing us to look at our philosophy of life as it's been, and what is working, keep that, and what's not working, let it go.
Wow. Wow. So what would people look for? Like what should you be noticing in your world during those days?
Well, the eclipse hits, and I didn't look to see where it's visible. I think it's a stretch down from the northwest across maybe below Colorado, maybe western Colorado, and down into around San Antonio. I think that's the path of it. Um, because next year there's another one around this time that's coming from the opposite point of visibility from the northeast down through and passing through San Antonio again. So San Antonio might be a good place for a person, when this is happening. You can research it online. So the eclipse hits, and for most humans, it's 3 to 6 months later that they begin to feel, oh, I think it's time for this, or maybe it's time to look at this or do that. So it's unless you live really close to the bone, boom, you're off and running that day. But most people, most humans, the human condition, it's 3 to 6 months later.
So 3 to 6 months later to make that change, but might there be a glimpse of what it could be?
Sure, sure. And this has the Mercury and the planet Uranus close together, so it's high on intuition. Excuse me. So you might have a flash that day of, oh, this is what it is for me, and then it might take a while to actually act that out or put those pieces in place. But it's really pushing that transformative edge, and it's really pushing people to look at, where do they give their power away? And the right use of power is to embrace it, empower yourself, and help everyone around you feel empowered as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Might we see this on a global level in politics as well?
Oh, absolutely. This is a global occurrence. Yes.
I wonder if we can direct that transformation in any particular direction.
No, you'd have to be in a position to turn the globe. You know? to kind of move it into so that it passed over the land masses and the peoples where you think it should happen.
Okay, so we'll just have to trust the universe has us all of our best interests at stake.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And you know, if we think about having chosen our birth time and chosen to come in when we needed to, then we're all perfectly placed right now for this eclipse to come through and set off in our own personal charts what it's time for in our own personal lives and collectively, globally also.
Yeah. You know, the word transformation, I think, is used often these days, and maybe we should just take a minute and shine your wisdom on that. What does transformation mean, Jyoti?
Well, first of all, it means change.
Mhm.
And it means, you know, it makes me think of the old adage about turning lead into gold.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, you're transforming something, you're changing the substance of something, and you're bringing something maybe that was very simple into a more complex or important kind of thing. Or it could be taking old patterns of behavior and even thinking and realizing that that stuff was for then. And for now, I might need to look at things differently, change my thinking, and thus change my behavior.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. Anything else out there we should be aware of?
Well, this eclipse is also asking us to reach out and ask for what we need, not to isolate, but when things are maybe a little stressful, but to reach out and ask for what we want or ask for what we need. And sometimes that's difficult when people are really looking at things that are very vulnerable or sensitive to them, you know, because maybe they've been refused at other times. Maybe they've asked and weren't responded to. And we have a culture kind of that is very do your own thing, you
Yeah.
know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make it happen and do it yourself and be that self-made person, you know. And a lot of people take pride in that. There's nothing wrong with asking for help because we're not isolated islands, you know, moving around each other. We're connected, we're interactive, we're all part of the same race of humanity without getting too metaphysical about the whole thing. I mean, we're just all part of this race of humanity. Different colors, different shapes, different languages, different geographies, but we're all part of this living organism that we call the human race living on Earth at this time. And so we all are part and parcel of each other. It's just that we don't see it that way.
Mhm.
And so we tend to isolate when we get stressed. And so some things are going to change signs. So without getting too detailed right now. And so it's important for us to
Mm.
reach out and ask for what we need and allow other people to help us. And there's an aspect in this chart with Venus square Saturn that brings up trust issues. So people who have trust issues about different things, certain things, those are the things that might come up. All of a sudden you wake up one morning and go, well, how do I know this is going to happen? How can I trust that what I really need is going to show up? I haven't trusted it before, but the trust part of the issue is up. So because this eclipse is kind of that's part and parcel of this chart. And so it's going to kind of push trust issues to the surface.
So, Jyoti, I've heard you repeat that phrase many times in these astrological readings, and so when we're pushing something up, it's up for us to see it and then take action or heal or resolve, right?
All of it, all
Um,
of it.
and it's up, it's easy, it's that's the only place we can access it, because when it's hidden,
We can't see it.
right?
But
Okay.
if something gets pushed to the surface of our consciousness and we happen to catch it, sometimes we're just going so fast we miss it. But if something all of a sudden is like in our face, like let's say you have an offer of something, like, a job offer or an offer of whatever. And you stop and look at it and you think, well, can I trust this? I
Mhm.
mean, does this really have my name on it? Is this something that will benefit me? How do I know? So, that trust issue rises to the surface. There you are, not knowing, trying to figure it out, or just kind of let it show itself to you, so it pushes trust issues, and it may look different each time that trust issue emerges.
Mhm.
It's not always going to show up in the same way. Usually, sometimes it can.
So it sounds like it might be a good time to get curious about why we're not trusting something.
Yes. And where did that non-trusting come from? Is
Mhm.
it something that we brought in with us into this life to work on? Is it something that happened in childhood that showed us that, oh, life isn't too trustworthy? Things can come out of nowhere and kind of smack you a little bit, and
Yeah,
and
yeah, sure.
yeah, it happens. And so we've learned to be very cautious of, or we've learned to just flat out not trust.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like the reaching out, we've learned that maybe that's not such a good thing. So, I mean, this chart of the eclipse has a lot in it.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, it's great with intuition and insight, which is a good piece with all these other things possibly emerging. And there's a propensity for a lot of healing here with Mars square Chiron, and really like almost like kickstarting a healing process.
Mhm. Beautiful. Anything else we need to know?
Um, no, I don't think so. It's just more than anything, it's just trust yourself and reach out and ask for help when you need it.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And then there's the living of it. Yes.
Right, right, right. Good on paper, but living it's different. But now with it in our consciousness, we can make different choices.
Yes, we can be on the outlook for, or the lookout for, those opportunities that are going to show themselves to us, to move past where maybe we haven't been so trusting, or maybe we haven't reached out, or maybe we've been giving our power away and just need to reclaim it.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Hey, Jyoti, thanks so much for this.
Sure. Thank you.